Anytime you guys see cables like this, all touching the metal here, and if you direct connect to these, you're just grounding out. You're picking up the whole AT&T system if you don't separate these wires apart from each wire. If they're touching, you know, you could be bleeding onto other AT&T lines. So in this case here, since this is all a mess, I gotta take the bottom off and see what's going on to separate all the grounds. So I'm locating each cable by itself versus lighting up the whole AT&T pedestal here. So now I got everything not touching the metal piece, and it's not touching each wire. As you guys can see, it's touching nothing, it's all by itself. Now I should get told I'm working all the copper cable out of this ped. Excellent tone. $37, not bad at all. $14 milliamps, not bad. Anytime you guys get a tone, just like that, put a dot down. Put a dot down. Don't be scared and come back to it, because it's one of your cables that's coming out of this ped. Going that way, you're just picking it up. Ah, another tone. Look at that. This one here, I'm reading 68. This is my moneymaker right here. The other tone with the other cables. So this is my good milliamp, good peak response, arrow straight. This is my cable, moneymaker. $71. Beautiful tone, beautiful tone. Can't argue with this tone here. This is a great tone. Now I'm getting close to that ped. It's supposed to be turning. So I'm gonna baby step it in. See the arrow going, the compass going, turning. And there it is. There it is. Or this one here, I'm reading 70. 70. And the other way where I picked up was reading 40. So that's bleed off. This is my cable right here. 70. And see how the top bar went all the way down? I know this is my cable. This is the moneymaker right here, folks. This is how it's done. Now we're gonna get close again. Baby step it in, because it's congested here. And you can see it's turning right here. This is how it's done, folks. This is how it's done. Loving it when it tones out great. Go to my next cable. As you can see, still not touching. It's all by itself. That's the way you want it. All right, guys, I can't get the other two cables that shoots north feeding the buildings. So in this case here, I'm gonna put the ped back together the way I found it, and then I have to go to the 2 buildings and bring the 2 cables back to this ped, since for some reason I can't get a tone. No tone out of this ped. There might be an underground splice here, because see where all my toners, there might be a splice here where the 2 splicing off and shooting north. So let's put this back together and let's go to the buildings and try to bring it back. All right, I'm on the first one here. You can see where the pipe's going right into the building. Let's go out there and let's see how it tones out. All right, so I'm just gonna sweep right through here, because I know the cable will be in this area, because it's coming out to the front. I know it's not going out and back, there's nothing back there. So I'm gonna sweep this area here. And right there, almost 2 feet, good tone. So you can see the compass turning and my cable's turning with it. Getting kind of messy, so I'm baby stepping it. Can't go too fast, there's something, the cable's old and the tone's like shitty. So there must be a splice here, because you can see where the cable wants to turn this way. If I sweep this way, you can see I'm picking up the other cable here. So this cable has to be an underground splice. Let's see where it's at. So the splice is right here off this cable. That's why I'm not getting the tone from that ped, because I got this tone here, but it got me going straight out that way. My current one wouldn't travel this way. So there has to be a splice right over here, a splice. If you ever see a phone line like this with a splice, aerial splice on the building, you never ever want to clamp up here, because that's the wrong way of doing it. You're trying to blow through the splices. You're trying to blow through right there through the splice here, and most likely you go bleed off and pick up a different utility. So you want to go after the splice where you located it. So bring it down here, clamp it down here, and you can minimize the bleed off versus doing through a splice case. So remember that, never ever go above here, bring it down there. All right, I'm gonna do a half moon sweep, half moon, because it's not going through the building. I hope not. And see the knoll right here, beautiful knoll. And turning right here. And right next to the street lights. So anytime you're thinking you're bleeding on the street lights, don't worry. You gotta listen to your machine. Your machine says it's here, it's here. So you put your marks, put it right on top of the street lights. Because it could be that the locator who located the street lights bled out to your cable. So I'm gonna verify it. It peaks here. This is my null. I'm reading 1 foot. My milliamps is almost at 30. I don't know if you can see it, but it's almost at 30. Good tone. Compass is going straight, and I'm gonna turn it. And my bar went all the way down. It's down to 0. So I know I'm on my street lights. So folks, never be scared. When in doubt, mark it out. Because it could always be that someone else marked blood off at your line. And we pay attention to your equipment. So now you see my compass turning. So say my cable went that way. I'm off the streetlights. If I was on the streetlight, it would have taken me straight. But you can see no tone. So my turn turned. So most likely I bled onto my cable and marked out the streetlights, or the streetlights is on top of the AT&T phone line. So folks, when in doubt, mark it out. And you can see I had to get into the splice case because I couldn't, the ring clamp, we couldn't get a tone on the ring clamp. So I opened the splice case. Every time you open a splice case, folks, be easy and careful with these wires. But your cable is not up here. This is the splice. So this cable here is going into the building. You don't want to touch this at all because this is inside the house, inside the building. The cable we got to locate is way down here. So you go way down here before the splice, like I was telling you, before the splice, and here's your cable. And here's your ground. Find the ground, unbond the ground, clamp onto it with direct connect onto the ground, and you get a beautiful tone. And then when you're all done, make sure you put this all back together nice and neat so it doesn't get moisture in here.